Hey y'all, how's it going? We're back again, episode 3. I'm Cali 9ja TV, all the way in Los Angeles, California, with my guy from the Croc
Y-
City.
Yeah, hi. How y'all doing? This is Yusuf. You're live on Cali 9ja TV podcast. I'm speaking to you from KD, the Croc City, Niger, West Africa. How you doing today?
Hey, I'm doing great, man. How are you, man? It's been a while. We're back again.
Exactly.
So much stuff
Yes,
going on. We're back to cover some more stories for you, things that are going
mm,
down in Niger. Today we got Niger mainly on our topic, on our plate. Nigeria. So we have this issue that Nasir El-Rufai, former governor of Kaduna State, he
yeah,
was invited. He went to the EFCC on Monday, the 16th of February. He honored their invitation and they detained him. So after detaining him, he was there till about Wednesday. Then he was going to leave, and then we have reports that the ICPC picked him up again as well, that they have also apprehended him and he is in their custody currently. Then
yes.
after that, we heard that the DSS is also ready to arraign him this coming Wednesday on grounds of cyber terrorism, um, grounds of national security issues.
Breach.
Based on his interview that he had on Arise News, he made mention that he was privy to information
Information.
being tapped from the National Security
From
Advisor's
the advisor's
phone,
phone.
Nuhu Ribadu.
Yeah,
So
true.
now he's facing charges of that. So I'll let Yusuf take it from there because, he's been on the ground. So he's got a lot of, I've been listening, I've been following, but I know he's got a lot of insight on this matter.
Well, Mokali, what happened with Malam Nasir El-Rufai is just, I would say, regular, check-up on politicians, stewards. He was governor for Kaduna State, like you said, for 8 years. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure, like, from what I gathered, why the EFCC had him, the Economics and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, they had him to question him about his stewardship in Kaduna, about some financial issues. And then
Yeah.
when they were done with him, the ICPC got him and also had some questions to ask him. Then I'm guessing the DSS, theirs is based on what he said while he was on Arise TV about tapping the NSA's phone and getting some privy information about stuff. So, well, I don't know. Maybe it's the method, or I don't know why everybody has different opinions on what's going on, but I think it's basically what they do, you know?
Yeah, I watched that interview and I was surprised when I heard him say that because the
Yeah.
host mentioned to him, he said, that's a crime, that's illegal, that's a crime. He said, I know. So
Hmm.
he's now saying publicly that he knows it's a crime. What he did is a crime. So it's like he's on national TV admitting to a crime.
Yeah. Confessing.
So
Yeah. And
it's like he's already being pursued by authorities, and now it's like he's
mhm,
giving them more reason to
to
pursue
keep
him.
him.
Yeah, because
Yes.
they have to arrest him. They have to do something because if they don't do something,
Definitely.
then they're going to be in the side. They're going to be on a side of weakness. So
True.
they
And it
they
shows,
definitely
it
have to
shows,
prove they have to prove it though. Still I that's what I think
yes.
in the court of law they will still have to prove this allegations, but he said it from his mouth. So now they'll have to go back and find the trace of that. Because that's a
True.
that's a slap in the face of the NSA that if
Exactly.
someone can
Exactly.
even because that's supposed to be the
Hack
highest agency of intelligence in the
in the
country.
country.
And if the
True.
top man of that position can have his phone hacked,
Tapped.
I mean, by just anybody, you don't even know who's who. Of course, El-Rufai is a former
True.
governor, and
Mm.
he's been minister for a very long time. And of course,
Yes.
he's privy to so
It's
many connections and
things,
people
information. Yeah.
and
Well,
information.
Mokali, there's been reactions from the public. People are saying that what's going on with him has to do with the fact that he's left the ruling party and he's formed alliance with some other top politicians to start up this ADC party.
Mm,
So they're in opposition with the ruling party. So people
yeah.
say it has to do with that. You know?
Mm. And they're fast
Yes,
becoming like the major opposition party because the
true,
PDP has been losing its air for a while now
true,
with like so
true.
much litigation, so many decampments. But yeah, that's
Hmm.
definitely, and he's very vocal. He's been very vocal
He
against
is,
this
he is,
current government. So,
he is.
the thing is, I hear people keep saying that it's because he was not, he was rejected as a minister, that's the reason he's angry. But I do honestly, me personally, I remember that he was begged to come and serve. He said he didn't want to serve. But people, when they keep making this argument that it's because he was rejected, he didn't get his way, I'm still like, well, it is on record that there's even record that the president said, no, you're going to come and serve my government. We can't let you go like that. I mean,
Yeah,
that was publicly done, right? When
true.
Tinubu was already elected, when he was
Yes,
looking for who and
if
who
you
to.
don't give me, if you don't give me an answer that you're gonna be with me, I'm not gonna step down from this podium. I think that was
Yes.
what Tinubu said. You
Yeah,
know?
you are exactly correct. That's the exact moment he said that. And so he people try to push that, sweep that under the rug like that didn't happen.
Yeah.
That did
Mm.
happen. So I'm not going to say
I
that he wasn't disappointed about his the lack of his nomination, lack of
rejection.
him
Yes.
being cleared by the Senate, and that they
Mm.
had a security issue or something, which I guess is blaming on the National Security Advisor currently.
Mm.
But
He had an interview last year, El-Rufai, and he expressed his views on his rejection. He, of course, like you said, he was disappointed.
mm-hmm,
And then there's another, which brings me to this point. There's another group of people, like school of thought, if so to say, that believe Tinubu rejecting him had to do with a lot of politicians and influential people, you know, telling Tinubu not to accept him to be part of this government. Because if you look at it from where I stand, from things that I'm seeing, again, you could take that to be true as well. Because look at it this way: since last week that Malam Nasir El-Rufai has been with the security agencies, being grilled for one reason or the other, have you seen any statement or any protest from the ADC condemning that or trying to reach out? Or I don't understand. Like,
yeah, you're
isn't that
right.
how
I
it
haven't
should be?
seen anything publicly, like they haven't. The
Exactly.
only the only one that I recall was Atiku Abubakar, the former vice president, visiting him at his
Yes.
home when he was confronted at the airport. That same
Yes,
night, they showed
that
that.
was before the arrest by the
Yeah, that was
EFCC.
before this arrest. And
The
I honestly
invitation,
think it's
sorry.
because of the weight of what he said on television. For what he said on
Mm,
television, I think, me personally, I'm thinking that they're like, what are you doing? Like, why would you say that? Because
mm.
a lot of people in the ADC were already complaining, or SDC, when I think he was like going to the SDC first, they were complaining that he's a political risk, he's a risk to
Yes,
be part of their party, SDP.
SDP, yes.
Yeah, so he has that that baggage towing then he's going
exactly.
along with him, that he's a
And you know,
political risk. And this is one
yes,
of the
if
reasons, because he's making
if you look
unguarded statements, you know?
exactly, if you look at like on that Monday was the day he was invited by the EFCC. I
Mm-hmm.
think that was in Abuja, but if you saw the activities that went down in Kaduna, you know, you had the whole 23 or is it 24 members of Kaduna State Assembly all signed petitions like in support of him being grilled, you know, like taken by
Investigated.
the yes,
Yeah.
and there were a lot of people with allegations. There's even one about this journalist who's been missing. I think the guy's name is Dajiata, you know, because
Mm-hmm.
El-Rufai said
Yes.
something about when they asked him on Arise, he said something about the former Kano governor Ganduje that they should ask him about the guy's whereabouts. So there are a
Yes.
lot of people coming out, even people from southern Kaduna, you know, they had allegations about one of their traditional title holders who came for a meeting with government, and on his way back to his domain, he was kidnapped, and whether he was killed or not, because nobody heard from him again. All
Up till
happened
now?
while, yes, you know.
Wow.
So there are a lot of stuff that people, you know, he's made quite a lot of enemies, you know.
Yeah,
So
that's definitely
so
true.
so in support of, I mean, in how do I say this? Like part of what
Defense?
those guys, yes, were
Yeah.
saying about uh, it wasn't Tinubu's idea to drop him, that there were pressure from people, especially a lot of northerners. They were
Yes.
the ones that didn't want him around. So they
Yeah.
were the ones that told Tinubu not to go with him. So you could make sense out of it with all these chain of activities going down in the north, especially state
Mhm.
where he ruled for 8 years. So I don't know. It is what it is.
Yeah, man, he does. He has a lot of enemies. Um,
Yes.
that is crazy because even at the House of Assembly, there was so much protest. People came there to
They
protest
were.
against him, all these youth groups. You know, he did a lot of
Mm-hmm.
things to a lot of people. Like he I heard he, you know, destroyed a lot of people's homes. They destroyed people's
Yes.
businesses.
Businesses, like
Even
all these markets.
the
You see,
markets. Yeah.
almost, yes, all over Kaduna, there, these, he wanted to change the structure of how the markets are. You know, to me, those are all good plans, but it's always his approach that, you know,
Yeah.
causes the issue, you
Yes.
know,
They should have
and
set up
most of
temporary
these
markets,
things,
temporary for
exactly,
people to, while this is going on, they have somewhere to
you
go.
have somewhere to trade, yes. And
Yes.
then the way he gave it back to them were too expensive that a lot of people cannot afford.
Yeah.
Up till now, those markets have been restructured, remolded by him. But honestly, when you pass by all those places, the shops, the stalls are unoccupied. People
So
just
what's the
sell their
point?
things outside.
What's the
You
point?
understand? Like,
Yeah.
it's too expensive for them. They cannot afford it, you
Yes.
know?
Yeah.
So yeah,
And
he
they should
made a
have been
lot of
the first
enemies.
dibs. Those people should be the first ones that were already in the market to come back, and then
Yes.
you give them a you enable them to be able to pay for the rent there. Definitely,
Mm-hmm.
you're gonna maybe add a little bit, but it should not be astronomical, But they
Exactly.
raise the
Exactly.
rent like times two, times three. You're like, oh my god, how can
Like times 10, more
times
like times
10?
10,
Oh
not time.
wow, yeah,
Yes.
that's doesn't make any
So
sense. Like, how do you expect
it
people to
doesn't,
survive? And like you said, now the place is
honestly.
empty, and people are still selling
Yeah,
outside on the street.
outside,
Because by the time that you
So
leave
the aim,
office and the next
mm-hmm,
administration is relaxed, they let people on the streets to sell. Then what
in.
was the whole purpose of the thing? The initiative was good,
Yeah.
but while doing it, have a
The,
temporary place where people can still trade, then
mm-hmm.
come back, and then enable
A
them to
lot of
come back.
people a lot of people complain that Rufai's policies were anti-masses. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it's for the elites. It's for the elites. That's what they say. Because if you look at it generally, yes, Kaduna got a facelift when he came in and left. Kaduna looks better by far,
Mm-hmm.
but everything has gone up, even rent, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
everything is on the high side now,
Yeah.
you know.
And
But then
there's no
in his
money. There's
support,
no work.
yeah, in his support, you know, he was, while those things were going on, those reforms about markets and all that, you see, you had people just building anywhere to sell their stuff without government really making anything off of it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you remember that bridge on Kinshasa, you know, there are people that sell stuff just by the side there. So it's not really a structure that government built or something. They just chose to sell their stuff there, and they were there for years. So the argument was that, okay, while you guys were here, you've been making money, you never set
Paid
aside
any rent
something
or
or had
anything. Yeah.
plans
Yeah.
exactly to come and, you know. So somehow when you look at it, what he did was okay, but then on the other side, the rent, you know, it was very high for them. They couldn't afford it.
Yes.
They couldn't afford it. And generally, I feel people make up the government. Without people, there's nothing, you know. So your whatever you do should be tailored around what people can patronize and, you know, be a part of. Because by the time it goes against what people can do, then what is the essence?
Yeah. That is true. That's the
Mm,
problem. And then when you're now in dire straits with authorities, you don't have any type of support. Nobody, people are, I
yeah,
mean, you have support, of course, because some people are definitely going to always support you, but the general will of the people now, you're not going to have that sympathy, you know? People are actually going to
nah, that's the
celebrate
thing.
your downfall. People will celebrate
Yes.
your prosecution, your persecution. They will celebrate it and say, this is what you get. You know, this is basically karma. That's what a lot of people are trying to say. It's
Mm-hmm.
karma, it's karma, it's karma,
Yeah.
you know?
You know
And
what I noticed about Kaduna Bokali? Like, let me give you an example. While Yakowa was the governor, you know, people from the northern part of Kaduna, that's Zaria and Coast, there were people that were not happy with it, you know. Then his own people from the south were happy. Then when you had McCarthy, you know,
yeah,
people
yeah,
from one section were happy and
yeah,
another section weren't happy. But trust me, when El-Rufai was there, almost everybody was complaining.
yeah.
So to me, I felt he was really doing something right
But even
because
McCarthy,
people,
he had people in the south who were kind of they liked him, especially after the crisis because of the way he handled it. The way he handled it, I think people
no,
kind of
but who
got off.
caused who caused the crisis in the first place, Mokali? You can't, because a state like Zamfara decides to go on Sharia, then you feel Kaduna too should be in Sharia. When you look at it, Zamfara is like 98% Muslims. And
Yeah,
then the tribes, mostly they are Hausa and Fulani.
yes,
But you see Kaduna, and then
yeah,
Gusau, that's Zamfara's capital. I think even maybe, let me say, Chukun local government in Kaduna State, I'm sure generated more revenue than Gusau, so to say. So
yeah.
you can't
Wow.
compare.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm just giving an analogy, you know.
Yeah,
You can't just because there's Sharia in Zamfara, you decide to bring it to Kaduna when
yeah,
you have Southern Kaduna who are
yeah.
predominantly
And it
non-Muslims.
was
You understand?
exactly in center
So
of learning.
to me, I think
You
he's
can.
the one that caused. He was the one by following that. That was why all this happened. The crisis came. He
Mm,
should have just stood his ground, and you know,
mm.
there's no how in hell that was going to
But when
happen. You know,
he left with a goodwill more so. I like recall. It seemed like by the time that he was leaving, he left a little. I guess he kind of maybe bandaged all the drama that he created. probably because I recall like he didn't have. It wasn't like this, you know. It wasn't like
No, but yeah, things are going to always get, there's always a precedence. If you look at it before that Sharia he brought Smokali, Kaduna was united, it was
yeah, it
unified.
was
You had
very
you had a lot of Christians in Kaduna North, but after the Sharia, most of the Christians just
and vice versa.
moved
There were a
back
lot of
to
Muslims in
exactly,
the
you
Kaduna South
understand.
as well. Yeah,
So
it was vice
I
versa.
think
I remember that time
the
we
problem
blamed the
started from his
politicians
time.
generally, the politicians
Yeah,
overall, and definitely he's going to
and
be he's at the top in the state, so he's going to
exactly.
take the
So
most of the responsibility.
he wasn't a well thought plan.
Yeah, yeah, that's true.
And you see, like Kano Kwankwaso, on the other hand, was the governor of Kano, even though Kano was predominantly Hausa and Muslim as well, but Kwankwaso was not really keen on declaring Sharia in
Yeah,
Kano. In fact, that was part of the reason why he didn't get re-elected for a second term after
yes,
his first tenure. Kwankwaso did 4 years,
yes,
lost to Shekaro, who did
yeah,
8 years. Then later on, Kwankwaso came back.
and did
He
his
was
four
part
years
part of
again.
why,
Yeah,
yeah, part of why he lost out was because of that Sharia that he didn't want to
yeah,
declare.
and he was
You see,
supporting Obasanjo as well.
yes,
So, and at the time,
exactly,
Kano
exactly.
decided they don't want to support Obasanjo. So, because of his loyalty
Yeah,
to Obasanjo, he now lost
he
his
lost
seat,
out.
but now was made a
Hmm.
minister in the federal government. But he was able
Yeah,
to
he was
come
the
back.
defense minister.
Yeah. Then when he came back for his 4 years, he now went all out for the people.
Yes,
He went all out because he started
yes,
this development in Kano. Like he's the one that
yes.
went very hard on the development of Kano because he saw how they didn't want him, how they chanted him out. They were shouting at him,
Mm.
yelling at him to get rid of him. But then they had eight
It was the
years of
last 4 years.
yeah, then
It
they
was
had
the
eight
last four
years
years
of
that he did.
nothing happening under Shekaro. They had Shekau. What is the name?
Shekaro.
Shekaro. Yes, they had eight
Yes,
years of basically stagnation, for that time. Then
true.
they were like
Mm.
eager to get Konkoso back because at least there was some activities going on. He took advantage of it and started
And
developing Kano significantly.
you see, Mokali, if you look at what Kwankwaso did, like you said, significant development.
Yes.
And then he did it to be people oriented. Like, he
Yeah.
carried people along. There were a lot of poor people's kids that Konkoso gave scholarships that went abroad to go and become pilots, doctors, and all of that.
Yeah.
That's still the goodwill he's enjoying. You
Yes.
see, that's a difference between him and El-Rufai.
El-Rufai, yeah.
Kwankwaso is street smart. El-Rufai is book smart, but
Yeah.
trust me, not too
Kwankwaso is
street
a
smart.
hardcore politician. He's really
Yeah,
a deep, hardcore
that's true.
politician. Like El Rufai is not a politician, and he just gets it
That's
wrong
true.
on so many political angles. Like he's very smart,
Hmm.
book smart, and he's very orthodox in some ways that he does things in the
But the
technical
streets,
field, in the technical world.
yeah,
But when it comes
but it's
to
not street savvy.
yeah, he's not really a people person, you know, because
Hmm.
we've always known
That's
that
true.
yes, if he's this guy, he's in position, certain position, he will get the job done. I've always had
True.
personal confidence with that. Like I've always, even when I was in university,
Yes.
in my 100 level of university, Male Rufai came to our university we had lectures on a Saturday and they were going to use that hall that we were using for a Barewa Old Boys Association meeting, which he was a part
Meeting.
of.
Okay.
And he was the DG of
Yes.
DPE. And he was,
Then.
ironically, he was friends with our lecturer. They went to school together.
Oh,
So
he
he
also
was
went to ABU.
yes, he was they also went to but they were schoolmates from even Barewa. And then what happened was he
Oh, okay.
knows him and um may God rest his soul, Malan
Okay, man.
Aminu Kano is his name. He was our
Oh,
lecturer. He was a very good lecturer, but Malam Nasir El-Rufai, I'll tell you this, he was the first that was there to that venue. He was waiting, he was
Hmm.
there hours before the Old Boys Association meeting. He was the first one that was
Wow.
there. He was sitting in the couch while we were doing our lecture. Our lecturer introduced him, we know him, they were laughing. And our lecturer allowed him to talk to us. And Malam Nasir El-Rufai gave us
Hmm.
a lecture. He basically sold
Hmm.
PPE to us as students,
Hmm.
and we were sold. And the lecture was so
You know,
everybody was so
interesting.
interested in what he was saying. Everybody was attentive to this lecture. Like it was phenomenal.
Hmm.
So at that time, we were like, wow, yeah, this guy is very, very. That's when we had a one-on-one, like intellectual,
Yes.
interaction with him. That we were like, wow, this
Discussion
guy really knows what he's talking about.
is deep.
And
Is
exactly. So then when he became minister of the Federal Capital Territory and he studied urban and regional planning, we're like, oh, this is the perfect guy for the job. This guy is in the right spot.
mm-hmm.
So from that aspect, then already I felt that way when when he won Kaduna governorship. I was like, Kaduna is going to get a massive transformation. I already know it. I
Yeah, and it
know
did.
that. And it did.
And it
But
did.
the
It did.
negative aspect of it is outshining the positive things that he did.
Yeah.
That is what
Unfortunately
is
true.
unfortunately the negative aspect is
Hmm.
outshining all of those positive things he did, because right now mostly in the media, mostly nobody's talking about the achievements that he did in
Good
his
things
government.
he did.
The new
Yeah.
government that has come in are not highlighting all his efforts.
Mm-mm.
They're not. They're even like
No.
our loggerheads now, you know, claiming a
True.
lot of.
True.
It's only like supporters that are coming out that are now saying that no, he's the one that started this project. He started this project. He started this project. But the current government will not celebrate him on that. And
No, they're
it has
not.
to be with the people, the supporters. And the supporters now, the
Mm.
people are in love with the current Kaduna State governor, from what I've observed. You know, it seems like a lot of people are like swaying towards him in many aspects because of he's playing the political role, you know? He's
He is
playing
a
the,
better politician. He is
yeah,
actually a better grassroots politician than Malan Nasir El-Rufai. So you see, like I was saying, a lot of people believe Tinubu not including El-Rufai in his government was caused by pressure from a lot of northerners, a lot of
mm-hmm,
politicians from the north, monarchs and all of those kind of people,
yeah,
influential people didn't really want El-Rufai there. Because if you look at it, this new party they formed, the ADC, since all these issues going on with him, I've not seen any statements, in the
yeah,
media or TV condemning what's happening with him. None of them has really come out. So you look at it, a lot of people say politics is all about hypocrisy.
yeah,
So in his face, yeah, they're all cozy and all of that. But now that he's facing problems with the government, none of them even
yeah. They're
led
not
any
so
protest
vocal.
or did anything. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
They would have led
it's very
protests. They would have
unfortunate.
been outside of those places demanding for his release, especially all these high
Yes,
powered people that they have there. It's only
exactly.
Atiku that went to visit him the day of his, when they confronted him at the
Return from
airport,
Egypt.
but not actually when
Yes,
he's been detained, you know. And I
exactly.
think because of his statements on that national TV, it was just so weighty that they were kind of like,
It
wait,
was.
you said a lot, you said a little too much for our comfort, you know. So it made everybody
Hmm,
back up. So he's gonna be
true.
arraigned by the well, he's in ICPC custody, and the DSS said they're going to take him. They're going to arraign him
To
on
court.
Wednesday, this coming Wednesday. So
Okay.
I guess we just have to see what's going to happen from there, because
Hmm,
I mean, it's just a slippery slope. And like I said, for
it
him,
is.
he's like he's helping them. He's putting too much eggs in their basket. He's helping them with so much against him. He's giving them where he
Hmm,
doesn't even need to do all of that. He kind of needs to step back a little bit, face whatever he's facing, be a strategic key player in his
hmm,
party, you know, get his goodwill up with, fix some things, fix some relationships within his. And I was saying in Kaduna, I
Yeah.
was surprised because even some of the people that I heard were victimized, they were like victims of demolition. There's Suleiman Hunkwi. I've
Mm.
heard that his house was demolished. And I was like,
Yeah, one
wow,
of
this was
his
like before
houses.
a previous ally,
Mm.
you know, who is like
Yeah,
connected
they
in
were.
family ties. There's family ties there. And I
Hmm.
was surprised to hear
I
that
think I
his house was
I think
demolished.
demolishing Hunkui's house was a statement that he made. If I can demolish the house of somebody that everybody knows is close to me, then nobody is safe, you know?
Yeah,
I don't know. That's the way I look at it,
yeah. And
you
then I
know?
saw
It was
Hunkwi
a
with
statement.
the current governor launching all those projects they did recently, all the projects that the governor did recently. I saw Hunkwi there
Yeah,
in
you
front
know,
on sitting in the front row with them, and I'm like, you see, this is how life is, you know? You gotta you gotta choose your battles, you know. You can't be seen
true,
to
true.
be insensitive in such terms because one day you're there, the next day you're not there. So
You're not.
you're
True.
not. So you gotta, you know, these leaders. I hope this is a like a lesson to many of them. And the case of Dadiata that we're talking about previously, that he
Yeah,
made claims of him knowing that the former Kano State Governor Abdullahi Ganduje is responsible for his
yes.
abduction. Up to today, there's no sign of him. So that is another
Yeah.
case that the DSS said that they're going to open and
True.
investigate. I don't know why they've not been
I
investigating it all this while when this guy is missing. Every missing person
Yeah,
should
for how
be
many years now?
exactly.
El-Rufai was out of government for more than 2 years now, and that guy's been missing for like 3 years or thereabout or
Yeah.
more. Who knows?
And there's a claim
But
that
you
you
see,
know who did it.
yeah, I want to add something more, Kali. There are still some people that believe all these unguarded utterances El-Rufai has been making, that he's doing it deliberately, that he has some tricks off his sleeve.
Yeah.
Because, of course, any right-thinking person shouldn't spew out what he said about tapping the NSA's phone, that there's an end to it, that he's doing it. Because recently, there are some things that have just been popping up, but, well, I'll leave that for now. When let's watch and see how deep it goes, you know?
Yeah, yeah. It's a big rabbit hole. That's what it's sounding like. So we're definitely gonna
Exactly.
keep our ears open, our eyes wide
To the
open to
ground,
see
yeah.
what's gonna happen. We're gonna keep our ears to the ground, and we're gonna see what's gonna happen in the following days and following weeks. And we'll come back to this topic. I'm sure we're gonna have more to talk about. And but for
Definitely.
now, we're gonna have to sign out, you guys. And don't forget to like, comment, subscribe,
Share.
and share. That's the hit that bell button thing so that when we upload something, you get an alert. So I'm Mo Cali 9ja TV podcast.
Yeah, Yusuf on Cali 9ja TV podcast, signing off saying have a wonderful day. It was fun.
Peace.